What's going on, tribe? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Massy, and today I have a very special and requested video taking you through my top 5 favorite movements for the glutes. We're going to be targeting glute max, minimus, and medius with these 5 movements, and I'm going to be breaking them down to help you understand how to perform them best. And let's stop talking, let's start moving. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. Everything you need to know in the description below the video is going to be right there. All right, team. So we're gonna start with the first movement, toes elevated RDLs. Let's get it. So let's start with the first movement and why I love it. Elevated toes RDLs. What this is going to do is allow a greater range of motion on the eccentric portion of the movement, meaning when you are elevated, your hamstrings are stretched out. And once you bring the dumbbells or barbells, whatever you have at home, maybe it's kettlebells or even bands, once you get to this range, you are able to go farther down, stretching out the posterior chain. And when you come back up into that thrust, you are going to get a more range, right? So this makes it an advanced movement to your RDLs. And we know that hinge exercises target the glutes more. So what you're gonna do is bring maybe 2 plates if you are at the gym, or like I did, 2 5-pound weights. I am going to elevate the toes, but what I want you to do here is as you reach back with your glutes and reach forward, right? We are going to stand through the heel of our legs, okay? So take a nice deep inhale, engage the core, keep those arms nice and engaged. And as you lower, I have a nice small bend on my knees. I'm reaching the butt back, stretching it out. And as I am standing up, I try to search for my heels and come up by tucking under and squeezing. One of the things that I want you to remember is the position of your spine, right? I am not overextending or rounding. You stay in this neutral position as you go down and as you come up. All right, so keep that in mind. There we go. All right. So for those who Now, for those who want to take your RDLs to the next level, try elevating your toes, and this is going to give you a larger range of motion for you to get those deep contractions. That's exercise number 1. Let me take you through exercise number 2. And if I didn't say it, this exercise is working your glute max, that big muscle, all right? Let's take you through the second one. All right, team, so the second exercise I love for many reasons is the dynamic band clamshell. So you're gonna get a medium resistance or maybe light resistance depending on your strength level. And this band is going to go above the knee. Make sure, I don't know if you can see that I have a double mat because we wanna protect our knees, all right? So we're gonna go on the side. And I told you that I love this exercise for many reasons as we are working our core and working on the stability of our shoulders. And basically we're doing an iso hold on our shoulders. So this makes sure that we have good health on the shoulders. So we're going to assume this side plank position, right? And what I want you to keep in mind is this bottom knee is pushing away from the floor as the top knee is opening, okay? So check this out. We are working both glutes at the same time. So up into this form, side plank, we're going to open up, come down, and open up. Down and up. Find your obliques, push away from the floor. Make sure that you're using that knee, and what you're gonna find is glute and glute, all right? So down and open, down and open. Continue to go, and if you're doing this with me, by the time you get to the other side, we have already exhausted the glute. So why I love this exercise, we are able to work the core, and you guys know that the glutes are part of the core as well, but we're also building stability on the shoulders, all right? So this is something that you can complement on your compound movements. So if you had that toes elevated RDL, you will supplement with the clamshell. Let me know how that goes for you. That's a nice superset. All right, let's take you through the third movement. And I did say this last week that I was not going to work in hot environments, but here I am, sweating just by talking to you guys. All right, third movement. Third exercise, and you guys already know, probably assumed this was going to be one of my favorite, the hip thrust. But let's take you through the hip thrust because there's so many different ways and tips to give you guys to perform this movement, but I find that most people just focus on band-aids instead of focusing on the foundational issues that may be preventing you from going into full hip extension. Let me just tell you this. If you don't have mobility of the hips, if you have an interior pelvic tilt, if you are here, that means these extensors are really tight, these hamstrings are really tight, and when it's time to go up into that bridge, you're gonna end here. So not only are we extended on the rib cage, which we should be here, and that is only going to happen if you're doing exercises that promote mobility of the hip, all right? So if you find that by doing this movement, you're mostly filling in on your back and you're not really able to extend completely into that full hip extension, then we really need to work on those foundational issues. I hear a lot of people saying like, tuck the chin under. Like, yes, these things kind of like work, but there is a foundational issue that we need to address first. So if you guys want, I have a video on how to overcome anterior pelvic tilt. Find it on the playlist that I have and have fun there, all right? Okay, so first things first. You guys know that this is the advanced version of a regular floor hip bridge. If you are mastering that, now let's elevate it, all right? So I'm going to support my upper back and my neck with the bench or surface that I'm choosing to do this with. We're gonna start double leg, all right? So here, we are going to tuck the rib cage in, and automatically we should be able to tuck under, and by driving through the heels of the feet, we should find glute. So if I am tucking in my rib cage and now I'm bringing my booty down, you see how I'm not losing my core, and then I'm driving through the heels tucked under at the top. Let me do a couple of more reps, all right, so that you can see. Whether you have a barbell or dumbbells, nothing changes here. You often hear people saying, tuck your chin under, because automatically this is going to give you this tuck under. But if you work on those foundational issues, we could be here addressing the mechanics properly, right? And up. So now let's bring a dumbbell in. If I want a weighted exercise, I would bring resistance, whether it is barbells or a dumbbell. I'm going to secure the dumbbell on the most comfortable part of my pelvis, and I am going to go through the mechanics by keeping the rib cage down, coming up and squeezing at the top with that tuck under and with our rib cage in. Let me give you a couple of more reps. All right, so double leg. Single leg requires a lot more strength, right? So if I were to do this single leg, nothing changes here, maintaining the rib cage, and you see how this requires mobility and coming back up. We switch legs. You have to be mobile to do this, and coming back up. I am going to address it time and time again. The mobility of your hips, your ankles are extremely important for you to be able to perform exercises at its full range of motion and be healthy. All right, so that's my number 3. Let's take you through the number 4. So your 4th exercise, a traditional kickback, but we're going to approach it more so that we can hit our glute mid and minimus, all right? Now, take a medium or, depending on your strength level, heavy band. I'm choosing medium just because I want to feel the movement. A lot of you guys are compromising weight for mechanics, and this is something that I don't do. You will be at a better advantage working on that mind and muscle connection and making sure you have good mechanics. So I'm gonna support myself, okay? So grab a pole or anything in the gym that you find, and I'm gonna start by favoring one side of my body and giving this nice little hinge. If you are paying attention, we are going to be in an iso hold for this particular side that's not moving. So, thinking that my foot is straight, what I'm going to do, I am going to drive it straight in a 45-degree angle, come back in, knee to knee, and extend again. Make sure that leg is really close to the floor and extend, all right? Core is engaged. I am not, anytime that you see this diaphragm come out, right, flare out, that means that we're lacking the mobility that we need. And often this is what we do to compensate, all right? So lock it in here and extend. Only extend through the hip. Get that contraction, come back in and extend. Whew. I know I said only 5, but if you want to get more of the glute, you can also support yourself here and adduct. Ooh. And 3. And 4. I'm giving you 6 today. There you go, team. Let's go to the last one, my ultimate favorite. And this is going to require mobility on the hips. All right, I'm sweating. This is hot. Let's get it. Last but not least, I love this machine. This is a Glut Ham Race machine. Hopefully you guys can find it in your local gyms, but I love this machine. It allows you to really stretch out the posterior chain. There's a lot of things that you can do on it, but let me just walk you through. We are going to do Glut Ham races, all right? So I kind of told you this already with the hip thrust, that if you lack mobility on your hips, you guys are going to feel this on your backs. So you guys hear a lot of people saying like tuck, and they have like this weird form, but if you actually have mobility, then we wouldn't have to go through those band-aids, okay? So I'm going to hook myself onto the machine, and it's already set for my length, right? You wanna make sure that on the eccentric portion of the movement that your hips are supported, okay? So by stretching out the legs, I am going to lock myself in with the foot, and all I'm doing is thinking I am going to tuck under the entire time. As I come up, I tuck under. So I don't have to do this. I don't have to do anything crazy because I have good mobility and I can go into full hip extension. So I am stretching the glutes and the hamstrings, and I am tucking under and finding that nice contraction. You can start body weight here, and then we can play around with maybe holding dumbbells, maybe it's holding a plate. So this is going to hit glute max and give it a nice deep contraction. Now, what would happen if I let go of my core? I am going to be here, okay? So doing this, and it's going to go to those erector muscles as opposed to tucking under and getting that full contraction. And it is such a simple movement that takes the life out of you, and you can get really good contractions. So, man, it's hot in here. Ooh. Here I give you my current 5 favorite movements for the glutes. We train glute max, minimus, and medius. So add those to the arsenal that you already have for glute exercises and let me know if you try them, all right? And if anything was helpful here, let me know in the comment section below. Love you guys, and I'll see you on another video.